So we are going to start a new session today uh, for the political science. Once again, very good morning to all. I want to welcome everyone to Mata Tripura Sundari Open University, Tripura, for a political science program. I am your faculty, Mantra Devarma, assistant professor in political science program. So here you can have my contact details in my email. If you have any doubts and queries, you can contact me during office hours and you can email me anytime. I'll be happy to answer your queries through email as well. Now, let us start the session today. So, this is our first paper in first course in MA Political Science. The course name is Western Political Thought. The course code is PLM 6111. So, first semester, and the units we'll be covering is 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay. So, basically, this is our objectives of today's session. In last session, we have discussed some thinkers like Mercedes of the Padua, Machiavelli, Thomas Hobbes, John Locke. Those things we discussed, like Thomas Hobbes' State of Nature, how people were, there was war of all against all. People were fighting with each other because there was no proper rules and regulation or authority to govern them. People were that is why they had to create a social contract to create a state. Same also case in John Locke. Even according to John Locke's theory of social contract and state of nature, even though there was no fighting between the people, but still there was some sense of insecurity. There was some sense of lacking of authority. A fair judgment was required of who is wrong and who is right. That is why they created a social contract and created the state. That means basically in the last class we discussed how did the state come into being. So now again in this same thinking like Western political thought, we are going to discuss the Western thinkers, the philosophers and thinkers from the West and their ideas will be discussed in today's session. Okay. So what are the objectives? Let's see the Enlightenment, legacy and transition to modern thought. Okay, so how did we change from medieval thinking to modern thinking? Is it not? Because our thinking always keeps on changing from one stage to another. Now we are living in a modern, even post-modern ideas are coming up. So what are the ideas that lead to the starting point of the modern age? Some very important questions we'll be asking is freedom. What is freedom? We generally believe I want freedom. Is it not? So we're going to discuss that. What are the ideas? There is in political science that is talking about freedom. We're going to talk about the state, the government, or the country. What is the role? We're going to discuss the human nature. How do humans behave? Then we're going to discuss that. And we're going to discuss some critique of existing call from reform, like criticism of current social structure or institution. What are the changes that needs to be brought in the political structure to make the living better or to make the situation better. We're going to discuss human motivation and good society, about the human nature basically, and we're going to discuss from individual philosophy to practical historical cause why these ideas matter beyond the classroom, how these ideas are actually applicable also in their life. Even me personally, I have, after learning all these things, I believe I always try to apply these things in real life to understand humans. How do they behave? What is their nature? Because from there you can learn about the human nature, and in the process you can assess your thoughts and all these things in conducting yourself. Okay, so these are the things we have in today's personal contact programs objectives. So before we start, today's first thinker, that is Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He was born in 1972 and died in 1978. Okay. So our first thinker today is Rousseau. So let us now start. What the key points about him was he was born in Geneva, influential Enlightenment philosopher. In academics, or even we know that there has been an Enlightenment era in basically Europe in the, let's say, 16th or 17th century. So he was one of those people of that time when the Europe got enlightenment. So you can see his picture here. I've given him. He looks like a proper European scholar in those days, is it not? So his ideas and his major works, which are important to remember, the social contract that he wrote in 1762, Email or on education in 1762, Confession. These things are major works you can remember for objective questions that may come, okay, maybe also in the exams. What is idea? He challenged traditional constitutional government, so he wanted to bring a reform. All these thinkers, all this, so whatever they tried to do, they were trying to provide some solution. They were trying to provide some knowledge. So basically, this our Rousseau was also trying to produce some kind of information and solution to the existing requiring let's say problems or issues that is underlying in the government or in the education system and human nature. So he was largely influenced with the French Revolution and the modern democratic theory. We all know there was the French Revolution when the common man fought against the feudal power. Okay, so he was influenced by that and modern democratic theory, which we have now. What is democracy? What is the parts and parcel of democracy? He was influenced by such kind of things. Okay. So what were his ideas? According to him, let's go back to the state of nature. State of nature means the first beginning of human, even before civilization, pre-civilization, when there was no such system as a social structure, social system, or judiciary, or government, or state. It was called state of nature. That means most probably the primitive age. Okay. इस टाइम में कोई गवर्नमेंट नहीं था, उसको बोलता है स्टेट ऑफ नेचर. long back, that means we are talking about the ancient time. So according to him, during that time, life was peaceful, equal, simple, not violent, unlike Hobbes. So in this case, he somehow disagree with Hobbes, because what did Hobbes say? Hobbes said was that during the state of nature, when there was nothing, no system of government in the history, there was fighting among people. People were selfish. They wanted to acquire more. They wanted to acquire more and more. That's people were fighting for life, mostly the private property or such kind of things. So according to him, he is different. Okay, according to him, life is not necessarily fighting always in the state of nature, but it was peaceful, equal, and simple. What are the qualities people have was will and perfectibility, the noble savage. According to him, this word is very important to remember, the noble savage. Okay, humble, silent person. According to him, the people who are not so aggressive. Thomas Hobbes described human as very aggressive. He described human as a humble and obedient guy. So what changed? Because he said that there was no problem, but why was it required to build the state of nature? According to him, private property created inequality and need for government. According to him, later on people came to say that this is my area, nobody should touch it. That means private property. Okay. Private property is the reason that people it created inequality and needed for government to be established. Because when you have a private property, you want to protect it, is it not? You will not allow anybody to come and capture your house. It is illogical. You will not allow it. That is what he said. When there is a private property, there is inequality. Some people will have more, some people will have less. That's why there is a need of government to solve if there is any problem arising out of private property. Critic of reason, science and progress for a moral virtue in smaller societies. He is also anti-science scientific developments, because during that time there was industrial revolution in Europe, so he was also kind of against scientific arrangement because it says it forgets the value morality in humans, which is very much required. Only the science, cannot actually solve all the problems. Okay, we need morality and some emotions. Okay, so that kind of thing. His key concept was civilization creates artificial inequality operation. So his main idea was against inequality and oppression. So he wanted to have a fair society where things are equally distributed. So this is one of the, because equality is one of the major concerns of political science. Is a subject we are always seeking, we are always trying, we are always demonstrating how to bring actually the equality in society. Okay. So his main theory, okay, very important, social contract and general will. So like his very famous line is, man is born free and everywhere he is in chain. He said that man is born free. Actually, when a man, when a human is born, he is free. But when he comes to the society places on him some kind of restriction. You cannot do that. You cannot sleep in this time, you cannot eat at this time, you cannot meet that person, you cannot go there, you cannot talk like this, you cannot dress like this. These are the things that the society places upon men. So according to him, man is actually was a free man. But what happened when the society came? He is everywhere in chain. So this is a very philosophical idea and very interesting. You can ask yourself this question: can I escape this chain? Can you escape this chain that the society and the institution has placed upon you? Okay, so this is a very interesting concept. Total energy rise to the community needs creates moral body. According to him, we should not be selfish. You should think for the society, not for yourself. Yes, you can think for yourself, but you should think more for the society. Okay. We should not think that I will live my life as I want. Let the society, whatever, let it do. He said, no, the best and most important thing is that we should contribute to the society as it creates moral body. It says it brings morality in people, it brings goodness, it brings likable things. Okay. So it also transforms when you do that. When you adopt that quality of contribution to the society, humans from the nature of animals to it becomes a moral creature, moral simple living creature. That means people will be more. You can call it humble, or people will be more reconciling. Okay, so this is his idea. One of the very important thing about him is that his theory of general will. What is general will? Is expression of collective good, not sum of individual interests. Expression, everybody went together. What is our wish? What is our wish as the people of India? What do we want? We want India to be developed, united, is it not? So this is called collective good. What do we want as a nation? So this kind of things are basically all as the general will. We need to understand what we want as a group. Okay. So we should stay in group. Wherever society you live, wherever community you live, you must abide by the rules. Okay. So if you refuse to accept that fact, if you refuse to submit or agree to the societal norms, you will have to be outside the society. So this is idea. So sovereign means independence. It doesn't belong to the government. independence or freedom, it belongs to the people. So this is general will means the common good. We should think what is good for everybody. Okay. So that is his idea. So that was about Rocio and his ideas. Now let us move on to another thinker, Jeremy Bentham. He is also a very influential thinker. He is actually just a second. Some people are joining with us. So another very interesting thinker is Jeremy Bentham. Okay, he was born in 1748 to 1832. Let's talk. Whenever you study anything, you first need to know the introduction. So let's go to his introduction again. He was born in an English family, abandoned law practice for legal reform. Okay, he was studying law, but later on he became a policymaker. Okay, he wanted to bring changes in society. I think some way or other we all want something change or something in society. It's not, I want the society to be like this. Okay, I want these things to happen like this. So just like any other person, he also has this tendency of social change. He was born in a very rich family, isn't it? So he wrote many volumes, he wrote many books and things on law, politics, punishment, education. His main idea is pain and pleasure are two sovereign masters. Who are the most important teachers is pain and pleasure. When we feel the pain, it teaches us something. When we feel pleasure in life, it teaches us something. So this is his core philosophy. And one more is greatest happiness of the greatest number, ultimate standard. All law, policies, actions should maximize happiness. So according to him, whatever the government do, it should bring maximum happiness to the maximum number of people. He was saying that whatever you do, whatever the government do, it should bring maximum happiness to the maximum number of people. Okay. When the maximum population is happy, it is good. The policy is good. Like if there are 100 people in the country, according to him, 51 people are happy, that means the policy is good. Then the maximum. Okay. So his ideas, let us just go through on what did he talk on government. State tool to increase happiness, not an end in itself. The government role, what do you think the government role is? We feel the government role is to build roads, to build hospitals, to build schools, to regulate the market, or to defend the country. These are roles of the government we generally think. And he according to him also, it is somewhat the same. He is saying that the government role is to bring happiness in the life of the people. Okay, so he did not like this aristocracy and monarchy. He did not like this king system. He liked this system of what is called representative government, that is the democratic system. Okay, so that is the thing. What are the things he wanted to bring changes is that he wanted to bring universal adult franchise. That means voting rights for everybody. In India, we have voting rights for everybody who attains 18 plus age. So that was his idea also long back. He's talking about election should be held secret ballot, means where now we have EVM, electronic voting machine. Before it was secret ballot, where you have to write in a piece of paper and secretly put it in a box. So that were his ideas. Unicameral legislature, that means only one legislative house. simplified codified law. Okay, the law, rules, and regulations should be simple and easily readable to all. He wanted to give freedom to media. Okay, what do you think? Just I want you to take this time and reflect whether we are having this freedom of press. Okay, so there was his also idea. More ideas is prison reform. और क्या क्या आइडियाज थे उनका, जेल में क्या क्या रिफॉर्म्स ला सकता है, सेंट्रल ऑब्जर्वेशन, टावर डिजाइन, ह्यूमन ट्रीटमेंट, एजुकेशन, oppose solitary confinement. Okay, so he's saying that even if people go to jail, they shouldn't be treated like animals. We should remember that they're also humans. They're humans. They have done some mistakes, so they should not be treated as that. They should be treated as a human. Okay, we should give them even education. Okay, is there education system in jail? This is a question I'm putting open to all. Can a person in jail study? So I want you to search on it and answer me later. Solitary, he should not be left alone. Sometimes we see that when a person is in jail, he has to live alone there, separated from other people. So that one he did not like. Okay, so he wanted to bring socialization also in the jail. In education, what kind of things he wanted to bring was national education system, practical useful curriculum, respect for student aptitude. That means the education should be available to all, not discriminatory. It should be practical, not outdated. Sometimes there are criticisms that the education system is outdated. We are not teaching the students that actually the required knowledge that is actually applicable in practical life. So he was against them. Students' aptitude. We should appreciate and respect the students' aptitude, means their capabilities, their ability to study, learn, and understand. We need to be very aware of that. So there was a thing about Jeremy Bentham and his ideas, what kind of things he wanted to bring in the society. Okay. Now let's move on to J.S. Mill. His background, again, he is born in 1806 to 1873. Okay, 1 second. So his father name is James Mill. He had a very good education, rigorous education. He was mainly studying these ideas of Jeremy Bentham. Just now, which we discussed, Jeremy Bentham has really influenced J.S. Mill a lot. Okay, his influence came from Bentham, Plato, Wordsworth, Coleridge, and especially his wife, Harriet Taylor. So these are the people which influenced him. This is a picture, of J.S. Mill. Very important, my personal favorite. I like his ideas about liberty, how people should be free and not restricted to don't do this and don't do that. A free soul is a happy soul. That's what I get. Let us go to discussion. So last reform, utilitarian philosophy. So I want you to remember that utilitarianism is a very important concept. I urge you, I request you all to learn about it. What is utilitarianism? So he said that he's the last and great utilitarianism means utilitarianism is basically maximizing happiness and reducing pain. Is it not? In life, we want to be happy. If we are sad, when we are sad, we are not comfortable, we feel uncomfortable. So we're saying that life should be happy. His major works, what are the books or what are the works he had done? Is System of Logic in 1843, his idea of principles of political economy, 1848, On Liberty, 1859, Utilitarianism, 1863, and the subjection of women. He wrote a lot about the women also in 1869 until he finally passed in 1873. So he did some modification. Bentham gave some ideas, but he did some modification also. High pleasure introduced more, lower pleasure sensual. He's saying that the greatest pleasure, the happiness is when it comes from the mind, not some kind of sensation, what we feel in our body, but from the mind and intellectual. That is the greatest happiness. Collective happiness is others will, when you help others, this is a kind of happiness you will get, according to him. So again, you should not be having personal interest, but we should have the collective interest. We should think for the collective society. We should think for the good for everybody, not for only for me. We should not be selfish. That is his idea. Okay, good life. In life, we don't need only pleasure. There are more things we have to know. That is value, liberty necessary. So we need to have freedom, utility, freedom and happiness. Okay, we should protect the minority. There is always minority in language, minority in culture, minority in religion, okay, minority in many other things. There are always minorities. So we need to protect them because they are vulnerable, isn't it? The majority may try to force them to do this and to do that, but it is a duty to protect their interests. So he was supported the rights of women in voting, because there was that time women were basically ignored from the voting field. So they were not even allowed to go for voting in election. So he was the person who supported that yes, women should be allowed to vote because they have the equal right as their gender counterpart. Okay. So what are the main ideas is to only protect harm. The individual has sovereign authority over his own body and intellect. See, just a picture here. I want you to know I wanted to ask what is the name of the statue. I'm sure you all have seen this. This is a very popular picture. This is called the Statue of Liberty. So liberty basically means freedom. How much freedom should we give to you? One may say, I want freedom. I don't want my life to be controlled. But how much freedom should we give? We should give that much freedom to the people unless they start to harm others. When you are enjoying yourself, that is freedom you can get. But when you start to harm others because of your freedom, that is not allowed. You may say, I want to ride a bike, I want to drive a bike at my full speed. But when you make an accident, you may harm somebody. So that is not allowed. So yes, you can ride a bike at a good speed, but it should not cross certain limit that you may hurt others. So you don't have to that right. Okay. So that is the thing. As a human, we should have full control over our body and our mind. Nobody should tell you to think like that. Nobody should tell your body to be like this. So that is his idea of his freedom. What are the extra freedom? Freedom of thought, conscience, and emotion. In our Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, we have freedom of speech and expression. So you can say that those ideas we have got it from John Stuart Mill. Okay. Association, same also in Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, we have freedom to form association. Okay, so this also we got it from J. Smith. Okay, freedom to pursue self-interest. Whatever the interest we have, we should be allowed to follow. Freedom of speech and discussion. We should be having the freedom to talk, to discuss, and to learn. Okay, so these are the ideas basically you can remember when John Stuart Mill talk about. So that was about his basic ideas. Okay, what kind of person he was, what kind of ideas. When you go and read in your SLM, you will understand more. We have provided SLM to all the learners, so you can definitely go through it and learn about it. Okay. So now we come to the last unit of today's session, that is George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. Okay. Hegel, another person, very important and influential in political science. So let us go to the last unit of today's session, is unit 16. He was born in 1770, 1831. Okay. He was born in Württemberg, Germany. This institution he was there. He did in Berlin University, Jena, Hallam. These were the institution he was affiliated with. He was there's a place called Prussia. He was the official state philosopher. He was a great philosopher, so he was even appointed as the official state philosopher. So this is the picture of him, Hegel. So what were his works? What are the things? What are the books he have written? Is Encyclopedia on Philosophical Science of the Philosophical Sciences, Philosophy of Rights, Philosophy of History, published posthumously. Okay. These are main books you can remember. So again, what is his idea? Is the state. He's talking about a country or a state or a territory, okay, governed by the government. What is the role? Means what is a state? He's saying the march of God on earth, divine. Very important again to remember is that the state is the march of God on earth. Okay. He's saying that the state, that the country is a march of God. It's something very divine. It is something very pure. Okay. That means the state is God. We must respect and pray to the state. What do you think? Is it logical? It is up to you to decide whether he is right or wrong. If you can prove him wrong, then you prove him. If you cannot, then you agree with him. Okay. So state is divine and will and reason. So state is very pure and divine. Okay. So what he's saying that he's against these ideas of social contract that Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and Rousseau talk about. He's saying that the state is organism, it has grown into itself, not artificial contract, because the ideas as given by Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau was that it was an artificial contract. But he said, no, it is not artificial contract. It is something that is a natural institution. No jabardasti here. State is the highest form. State is the most important. We should never think we are important. If there is no state, there is no you. According to him, if tomorrow we don't have BSF, border security force in the land, and if some country, our neighboring country, attack us and take our land, where are you? They may extinguish you, is it not? That means the state is important. You need protection also for the welfare. If somebody comes to your house and he burns your house, and if there is no state, who is going to protect you? You have to fight for yourself. But now, if there is a problem, what do? We call the police. Something like 100, that is the number of the police, I believe, in India. So you call the police to solve the problem. That is the state. You need the state. So he's saying that state is the one of the most important institution. Okay. So he's saying the state gives you all right. You said, I want to dance like this, I want to sing like this, I want to walk like this, I want to talk like this. But who give you this freedom? Who is protecting you this freedom that you are doing all these things? I want to drive this car, I want to go there. Who is giving? You think you got all the things? According to Hegel, it is given by the state. The country is giving you that. Because when your rights is violated, you go to the state to get it reinforced again. So according to him, people, when they came together, it finally turned it into a state. So he was basically highlighting that the state is very much important in our lives. Okay, we cannot deny that. So about the human nature, I want to talk about this social beings, humans, they like to stay together. Will you get anybody actually live alone the whole life? I think it is quite practically impossible. So according to him, people need to stay in group. How did the state develop? Is first the family came, after the civil society came, after the state came. First there was a family. After that, one society, group of family. After that, one society, again two society, three society, they become a state. So that is how it is grown. So when a person want to grow to his full potential, what he need to do is he need to grow through the state participation. He need to participate in the state. Okay, so that is about his human nature, how humans are. Now about freedom, what we talk about, what is freedom? He said freedom means to obey the law. He said freedom doesn't mean just you can do whatever you want. No, freedom means when you obey the law. That is the true freedom you will ever enjoy. A man's main motive is to obey to the rule. Men want to obey. The people want to obey to the state. These are his ideas. Okay, so he is talking about obedience to the state is freedom. But sometimes people are saying, it can be said that he's saying that to obey the state, whatever the state says, just do it. But sometimes if you just think about it, you are being restricted there. He's saying he's giving you freedom, but actually he's stealing away your freedom. So this is kind of paradox. You can just think about it. Okay. So another very, very important is his dialectical method. Most important contribution: thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. He's talking about the evolution process of our human civilization. First, being, again non-being, again becoming. Cycle continues. How did human develop? First one idea came. That idea was not perfect. Isn't it? We always have this idea, I will do this today. So you try that idea. Idea was not perfect, you have to modify it. You have modified, still it is not perfect. Again, you have to modify it and do it again. So it is called thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Synthesis is becoming the quite good version. When you try to draw something, you are drawing a tree. You have an idea. So what you do is, when it's not perfect, you erase with the eraser and you draw again. So first you had this thesis, but it was not perfect. You have to erase it and you have to draw with a pencil again in the thesis. Again, it was not perfect. You have to erase it and again you have to draw it. It becomes synthesis. So at the last, it becomes quite good. So that is synthesis. So perfect, imperfect, quite perfect, it becomes perfect. Again, there also it will be problem. So it will go back to thesis again. So it circle continues. That is how we evolve as humans. So that is his idea of dialectical method. The cycle continues. Contradiction. When there is a problem, we find a solution. In that solution also there is a problem, we find solution again. Solving problem, solving again solution. This thing continues. This is called cycle. So thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Okay. So this is this idea of dialectical method. In the conclusion, what we can say is we discuss these thinkers basically talk about the importance of state and idea of state and democratic, how the people are bound or how people are supposed to maintain a relationship with the state. There is a tension between individual and collective. Okay, so there is a tension that the person as an individual want to be free totally, but sometimes for the good of the society, you have to restrict yourself. Is it not? How the governments, what is the government role, what is the state role and function, how is the relationship of people to the state, that's what we have discussed here today. But sometimes it is saying that their ideas is quite not practicable in real life also, because they are very theoretical. This thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, Hegel is talking about the evolution of human theory. But there are so many things happening, even materialistically, that he is talking about just idea. Some idea it came to people. That idea was not perfect. New idea came. So this somehow abstract, no practical grounding. So that time is somehow criticized. They have been criticized on that ground. The continuing relevance and productive discussion. Why this philosophy remain essential today? Because that idea we cannot deny that the freedom, representative government, and all these things are very much important today. So that is why we cannot deny their importance. Okay. So we have come to the end part of the conclusion of today's session. Okay. So I want to thank everybody who have joined today in our PCP session. So this is the question and answer. We come to solving questions again. Number one is define general will of ratio, explain Hegel's dialectical method. In the next class, we'll be discussing unit 16, 17, and 18. So if you want to answer the first question, I want you to take 2 minutes and think about it. Okay, so general will means basically the will of everybody, collective good. Roshi talk about that the best thing to desire is the desire of all the people collectively, not individually. So when everybody agree to do something, there is a general will of Roshi. We should make such a policy where everybody agree. Now, if we want to reduce the petrol price tomorrow, petrol price, will everybody agree to it? Most probably they may, but I'm also not so sure. So that if mostly all agree, that means it is the general will and that we must adopt it. However, about Hegel's dialectical method, just now I said thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. One idea came, that idea was not perfect. Again, then it came synthesis, it became, again, synthesis was not so perfect. Then it becomes thesis, antithesis. I mean, thesis came not perfect, antithesis came not perfect. However, synthesis came, it was somehow perfect. Again, there is a problem in synthesis. It goes back to thesis again antithesis, it become again synthesis. So this cycle continues. That's how the human civilization has developed. So thank you. I hope you have understood and had a meaningful session with you all today. In the next session, we'll be having unit 16, 17, and 18. So that's all from my side today. I will see you in the next session. Thank you for joining.